Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another video. Another day, another dollar with your boy. We're gonna be breaking down our futures chart. We're gonna look at some things that are happening in the bigger picture by looking at our daily and weekly charts. Uh, Currently, what you're seeing happening on the screen is going to be after hours. Nvidia earnings came out, and they're moving all over the place. Looks like they're down about $8 from where they closed earlier today. So they what's happening in the after hours, you just kind of have to take with a grain of salt and ignore. But overall, today was I wouldn't say strong day by the buyers, but it was a continuous grind and push higher for ES. Now, Nasdaq was a little bit more volatile and all over the place due to um, uh, Tesla and Nvidia and stocks of that nature, kind of uh, putting a damper on the mood. But overall, today it was a positive day for the buyers. Now, one thing we got to keep in mind is ES today had been the flirting with the daily balance high. So our daily has been in a balance for for the last 3 days or so. Um, this day right here on the 22nd was our balance high, right there at 64.96. We got above that today, so the daily is technically one time framing up, or you can say it just slightly stretched it. But the main thing is going to be um, the bigger picture, and let me show you here on the bigger picture. Just to move. Yeah. So let's look at the bigger picture here. So we're looking at our daily time frame within our weekly balance. And you can see we are getting near our weekly balance high. This is going to be a major line in the sand. You can see why ES today was struggling around that 64.90 level and 6500 level, because that 6502 was our all-time highs, and right around that same area is going to be our balance high. So we look at our weekly, right? Look at our weekly. Our weekly came back into a balance last week, but taking out the previous week's low, and it was a 2 week balance coming into this week, right? So 6502 being our balance high, we are right at it in ES. So that's going to be a major key coming into tomorrow, all right? And I'll point out some nuances here in a minute on the chart, on our 30-minute chart and our uh, profile chart. But you can see ES got right up to it. I mean, we got right up to the weekly balance high. Things to keep in mind whenever you're at a weekly balance high or low, or just a balance high and low in general, is whenever you're near these balance highs and lows, rules come into effect. Okay. Rule number one is you get near the balance high or low and reject from it. Okay. Go in the other direction. So, what we could see is if we do not find acceptance above 6,500, 6,502, you could see rejection and then a visit of the other side of the balance area. Okay. Now, the next rule is you slightly stretch it, meaning we slightly get above 6502, our all-time high and our weekly balance high. Say we push up to around 6505, 6504, we would have only, and then come back in, right? Say we get up to that point and then come back in. That means we will have stretched the balance slightly and then came back in, and you'll most likely see the other end of the range. Now, the last and final rule is going to be breaking above, moving through it, and away from it. So that's what you want to look for if you're a buyer. You want to come out of this balance area after having a decent little pullback, not big enough in my opinion, but a decent little pullback, and then you want to see us break above our weekly high and get the daily and weekly back to one time framing up. Okay. Now the monthly's been healthy, right? The monthly has not come back into a balance. Monthly continues to one time frame up. If you guys would like to learn more about one time framing up, one time framing down, leave a comment down below and I'll make a video specifically on that term. But the monthly continues to one time frame up. The weekly is at our weekly balance high. Our daily has just come back from balance to one time frame and up. So if we look at our daily balance, I guess you could say we've slightly stretched our daily balance if you'd like. For me personally, I'm going to give the Bulls credit and say that they're up, because no matter what, if we take out the weekly balance high, we will be one time framing up on the daily. Now, if we take out today's low, the daily will be back to balance, and it won't really negate anything. You'll just see failure at a balance high in the weekly. Daily will be back to balance, and it'll most likely roll back over towards the 6450s, and then back down towards the weekly balance low. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's kind of the bigger picture. Bulls want to push above and find acceptance above 6,500 and really get this thing moving to the upside again to get the daily, weekly back to up on the on all three time frames. So that'd be the monthly one time framing up, the weekly one time framing up, and then the daily will have been one time framing up. So that's what we want to see as buyers in this market. Now today wasn't a bad day. I traded pretty well for the most part. You can see right now the little push down. I should have bought it, but that little push down there, it's quickly been grinded back up. So I would expect a whole lot of chop in the overnight session. But back to the day. Today we attempted to go trend a few times, and by going trend, I mean holding single prints. We attempted to hold trend a few times throughout the day and just couldn't quite do it. And that's nuance number one. All right, if the buyers were truly going to put some control in this market, you would have liked to have seen a strong trend day to the upside, meaning the single prints that we had here in B, you would have liked to have seen those hold. Or even the single prints that we had in J period, you would have liked to have seen that hold. Instead, we had two instances of liquidation breaks to the downside, which quickly got bought back up. So it's showing weakness on both sides, weakness for the bulls by not holding their ground on the whenever we're pushing up to the highs and sellers step in. And then weakness on sellers' part because every time they push down, they couldn't gain enough traction to see the other side of the range. So buyers right now remain in control, but you would have liked to have seen us hold trend in B period or in J period to really signify some strength. Kind of like how we did yesterday. We spiked up relatively high yesterday, spiked up pretty good. We opened and stayed above that spike and remained above it all day long. So that's a positive for the buyers. However, if we cannot get some more traction above 6,500, then this market may, like I said, because we're at a weekly balance high, you may see this market come back into a balance on the daily. Or if you'd like to continue to say that it's in balance until you get more acceptance above 6,500, that's perfectly okay. But yeah, today was a grind to the upside. You had to be patient, had to be quick. The only trades I took were a long in B period to take out A's high and push up into that point of control, the wide point of control in the overnight session. And then the next trade I took was in E period after we had taken out D's low, stopped the one-time framing up. They pushed back up near the highs. I got into a short position, expecting them to come and fill the set of single prints because we were at a daily balance high and a weekly balance high, and that paid pretty well as well. I missed the afternoon pullback low and just did not trade the rest of the day because I was up decently on the day. So tomorrow, what do you look for? Well, your line in the sand is going to be 64.82. Okay, plain and simple. 64.82 value low. Buyers want to hold that level. Okay, if we open up inside of tomorrow, if we open up inside today's range and inside of today's value, you can expect a whole lot of chop between 64.80 and 6,500 until we either A, break to the downside, take out the day's low, and then you would have nothing until this point of control down here at 64.57, and then nothing from that point forward until value low at 64.50, and then the day's low down here at 64.45. So that's going to be your downside targets if you cannot hold 64.80s. On the upside, if you hold this and we remain in within this range, your target's going to be 6,500, 6,502, and then look to break out above 6,502, and it's clear skies ahead, right? There should be no reason if you take out that weekly balance high and that daily balance high, unless you're taking profits, should be absolutely no reason anyone would be selling in this market whenever you're reaching new all-time highs, etc. But with earnings and everything that's come out, might put a damper on the way this market's going, especially since we are at all-time highs. Would be a good and smart decision for anybody that did buy way back when on the dip to get out of some of their shares on this push up. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you'd like to learn more, please let me know down in the comment or go check out comingbacktrading.org. Visit Paul Asmar on YouTube. Great mentor and guide. We'll catch you guys later. See you.